Welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot and more. My name is Nancy, and I'll begin this live stream in just a moment. Verifies me to proceed. This is something totally new, so it's going to take longer than I anticipated. Let's see. Now I gotta do something on the phone. Okay, whatever. Just do that, I guess. Do that. I guess that's been accomplished. Okay. Who knew? Let's see. Did it take? It did not take. Interesting. I put in. This is so interesting to me. Amazing. It's going to take just as long as it always has for me to begin a live stream, because what I thought I did not do. Let's see. Today's date in. Irritating. It doesn't have any tags, and I put all those tags in. Amazing. Unbelievable. Let's see. Just want to put a few tags in. Amazing. Just amazing. Okay, just a few. Anything else that I want to put in? Okay. Astrological. Astrology predictions. Okay. Upset me so. I know my mouse didn't just go out on me. Give me a break. And I did everything in my power. I apologize. I've done everything in my power to ensure that this live stream would go smoothly. But every time I get on here, it's something. Every single time. It's unbelievable. And now I can't get my mouse to work. Unbelievable. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I would start now, but all of a sudden my mouse went out on me. Just all of a sudden. Okay, well, it'll be forever before I begin. I'm going through my drawer trying to see if I can find a new battery. I always plan not to be negative. I always plan to be professional. But for some reason, like that is not allotted to me. Maybe it's because my name is Nancy. Negative Nancy, maybe. I don't know. Incredible. That's all I know. A prepper. And oh, Jesus Christ. Let's see. Let me try this. Let's see. No. No. Okay. Let's see. It didn't even put the, don't even worry about it, Nancy. Just go and attempt to add a thumbnail. Maybe it'll let me do that. I'm trying to calm down. My anxiety level just went through the roof. I did everything prior to starting, and it still was a hot mess. The beginning has been a hot mess as usual. I am attempting to add a thumbnail. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see. I guess I'll start again now. Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and More. My name is Nancy, and today I'm here to continue with my 2022 predictions that will cover the months of June through September, something like that. We'll see if I can. Okay, all right. As mentioned, I am a tarot reader, so if you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, you can do so by contacting me by email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. All of the details that you need to order your own personal tarot reading should be below this live stream or video once it's complete. I tried to put it up before. It didn't take. So once it's complete, you can find it. But if you need immediate access to that information, you can go to any of the other previous videos that I've made. And below them are the instructions. It's been a long time. I've been sitting right here behind the scenes all this time. Now I've been cussing and fussing. I tried not to, but it's just a part of, I guess, my makeup. I had to find another battery. Hopefully that battery holds out, and hopefully I'm gonna just close that drawer. Okay. Okay, let me see if I need to switch the board around. How are you, Evelyn? Hi, Miss Nancy. How are you? I have been wondering where you've been. I've been right here behind the scenes as usual, doing my studies and just kind of, what's the term, the word, procrastinating and coming here on YouTube. I've been trying to work hard for the money in real life, in real time. Are you ready for what's coming? I turned the volume down on my phone. Okay. I don't know how this is going to go because y'all know it's been a long time. I'm hoping that this video isn't really, really long because y'all know I'm subjected or prone to making very, very long videos because I'll be trying to get all the information out that I can while I'm live. I'm hoping that this video doesn't go over 2 hours. I know y'all like that short. Over 2 hours. I'm hoping not. But what happened? What is going on? Don't do that with it. Y'all, I have no idea what just happened. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe it hovered over something. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. I think it hovered over, but I didn't click on it. Why is it still there? Okay. Okay. I'm trying not to be stressed out. But my stress level has gone up tremendously. Now, it's been a few months since I have been live or even uploaded a video. And so, I'm rusty. Anywho, I've been keeping up with my work. This is just some of it. This is what I want. I know y'all say this woman crazy. This is what I want to talk to you ladies and gentlemen about today. But before I move forward, I got to try to I guess, reflect upon previous messages that have been delivered. Now, I haven't gone back and reviewed, that's the word, review, uh, any of the messages I offered in times past. So I'm just kind of going to cherry pick some messages uh, to review. And the messages that I'm going to cherry pick to review at this time, I am choosing to do so because when I was doing this work here, it referred me back to the works I did in the past. How should I do this? Can y'all hear me? Evelyn, can you hear me? Because in a previous live stream, I was told the volume was real low. When I played it back, it was low. I don't know why it was low. And it was really, really an important message. I think it had to do with, I think the video was entitled Stand, probably the last video I made, where it was the video, or the topic in that video was about getting ready to, or like joining like minds, joining a crew, a clan, a group of people to prepare, you know, or whatever it was about. And the volume was so low, but that message was so important. I'm all over the place. You know, everything I make, it has to have an Aquarius rant to it. And so here's my part of my Aquarius rant is that I don't forget what I was gonna say. My stress level went up as soon as I started the video. Is that what the hell I was gonna say? I don't know. I'm trying to calm down. I'm trying to calm down. I'm trying. I have no idea what this is doing. I'm not touching anything. I have no idea what this is doing over here. This, I have no idea. Stresses me out. What was I about to say? What was I about to say? I don't know. I'm all over the place. That's why I said Aquarius rant too. Okay. I was referring to previous videos. The last one I made, or one of the last ones I made, was called Stand. I asked you to go view that video. It was very important. I am aware that the volume is very low in that video, but I asked you to watch it, put some headphones on, turn your volume up to maximum capacity, because the message is very important and it plays into the message I'm going to deliver today. What do I do? How do I insert the previous messages that I've delivered? Do I do it before, or do I do it during, interjecting during this message? I think it'll be better if I interject it as I deliver this message, because I really can't think of them off the top of my head, you know, right now. So as I think of them. Anywho, I have titled this live stream, you know, the astrological messages from July to September 2022. But as I mentioned, when I was doing this work, it took me back to previous messages. And so this first part of my stack is from May 24th. Again, I wasn't here on YouTube, so I didn't cover it, but it is before June. Now, the last one I did went up to June. I did something wrong. I ain't gonna worry about it. So I'm just gonna, this is all my work. I'm not gonna try to read it all to you, but this message I interpreted from astrological alignments is around during the period of May 24th. It's still relevant. It will continue to be relevant. And the message that I got, summarizing the message, it referred to a leader, historical leader, named Nero. Nero. I don't know if y'all can see that, Nero. I ask you to please Google or YouTube and watch a video about the life and the rule of Nero. Why? In short, it is because something else that has come into it. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me or not. I'm concerned. Yes, I can hear you. It's just fine. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you so much. Is that when I do astrological interpretations, I've shared here on YouTube that it seems like some form of correspondence, umbrella, uh, which is a correspondence, but they're different type of correspondences. And in this case, relative to the works I did on May 24th, which end up referring to the historical character Nero, it seems like, remember, it's this umbrella of correspondence, which is astrology, and it's corresponding for May 24th, the story of Nero, meaning it's like referencing or pointing to a historical character. This is not the first time I've experienced it. Experienced what? Getting referred to an historical character. I've been referred to the story, the life and story of Jesus Christ. I've been, to many characters, whether they've been real or fictional. Nero is supposed to have been real, and when it comes to Nero, it's about a young man that rises to power through ruthless means. I mean, his family was known for killing each other off in order to rise to power. He also was known for being a socialite, a party person, hanging out with the scum, hanging out with the lower class. You know, he was known for being musical and talented and an actor. You know, somebody that the people loved, the normal everyday people loved, the lower class loved, and they grew to trust him and like him because of that. But the officials, the higher ups, the ones in power during the time, didn't care for him. Number one, kill his own family. He do some everything. Uh, I just asked you to, find a story about Nero's life and review it. Another thing about Nero is that when it comes to I'm talking biblically now. I know I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm trying real hard. But biblically, and relative not only to the Bible, but relative to numerology, is that Nero's name, whatever it really is, the whole name, I was trying to see if I had his whole name. Anyway, supposed to add up to 666 or 667 or something, suggesting that Nero was the Antichrist incarnate. Okay? So all of that is relevant at this point in time. Why? Because it suggests that there is someone that is coming into power or within the public's view, that embodies the same spirit as Nero. So that's to say that this powerful person is liked by the people, detested by the powers, and also is thought to be an incarnate of the Antichrist. That's real. I'm gonna stop there. I don't know if it's anything else that I should talk about relative to this astrological message for May 24th, but I just wanted to note that. The next date that I have studied, if you can see, is June 10th. Again, I don't think I'm going to go through every single page. I'm going to try not to. I'm just trying to do a summary, real quick. Because a lot of these messages, I think you've already heard. I've heard a few of them here on YouTube. So I'm just kind of, I guess, showing you the frames of showing you the whole story about how some of these concepts are coming into being at this time. Now, I haven't heard anybody else talk about Nero, but Nero came up, the story of Nero. Anyway, now, June 10th, I get the storyline of, hopefully you can see it up here, the storyline of Wizard of Oz. Interesting, isn't it? Now, I have heard people in the last month or so referring to the story of the Wizard of Oz. And I don't know if when subscribers or viewers view a creator's content and they talk about such things as the story of the Wizard of Oz, all of a sudden, do we ask ourselves, why are they talking about the Wizard of Oz? Well, I believe that some of the creators here on YouTube are tapped into uh, metaphysics, and their content on their channel may not very well seem like they are in tune with metaphysics, or how to say, their channel could be about something off the wall, totally different from metaphysics or astrology or whatever, but they seem to spotlight these relevant themes at a very specific time. When I say specific time, I'm talking about the time at the same time period that it appears in the stars. And that leads me to look at some creators here on YouTube as suspect agents. What's it called? Agents? Agent Smiths and stuff? Suspect. Suspect. Because how do they know? Now, I'm sure you probably can't get the concept of the energy that I have to put forth to get the messages that I get. But it's a lot. Anywho, all over the place. Still moving forward, trying to move forward. Da 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 da. Wizard of Oz. Now, remember, I am interpreting the astrological alignments during certain time periods, upcoming time periods, soon to unfold time periods. And I get a message, a correspondence. There are different types of correspondence. This time we in, during the month of June, I get a message or a correspondence that refers me to the storyline of the Wizard of Oz. So right now, I want to talk about Wizard of Oz. I think a lot of us have seen some version of the story of the Wizard of Oz, but it's something like this. It's this little girl named Dorothy that lives in Kansas, and a storm happens, and she gets picked up in a tornado. When the storm ends, she finds herself in this land called Oz. When she's in Oz, she ends up meeting some friends, which is the lion, the Tin Man, and Dorothy dog went with her. Dorothy's dog went with her on this journey. Toto. Anyway, they end up meeting the Cowardly Lion, Scarecrow, and who else? The Tin Man or whatever else. And they go on this journey along this yellow brick road that it exists sometime and disappear other times. All of these uh, elements of the story are symbolic of something relevant in our world even today. We'll talk about it a little bit. There has to be an obstacle. And so the obstacle for Dorothy, the obstacles for Dorothy are the flying monkeys, the wicked witch, is just moving through the forest or uh, whatever, the forest to get to where she's trying to get to, which is actually the Wizard of Oz, the one that holds all the answers to the secrets. There's also a poppy field. All of these elements to the story are relevant even today. So, why did the astrological message for June reference me, the interpreter, to the story of the Wizard of Oz? I believe it's because the subject matter or theme that the message wanted me to take from it was about different personality types, and hopefully I can go into that a little later. I'm sorry for all the noise. It's getting really active outside. I cannot control the background noise. Before I move forward, I want to talk about the personality traits. There are 5 big personality traits. Remember, I think the overall theme or subject matter that uh, it really matters relative to the message from June 2020 is about personality traits. And so I Googled and researched personality traits, and I found that there were 5 big personality traits. And here are the personality traits. I'm going to try to tie it all in together by the end of this live stream. Let me try to keep going. I'm about to keep going. I'm about to talk fast. All over the place like Aquarius rant. Just try to get the information out here. I don't know how it's going to go. I'll see at the end. How about that? Anyway, the 5 big personality traits. The first one is either person is prone to openness, which is openness to experience. That's what it is. Openness to experience. This is the first big personality trait. And that is like being innovative versus innovative and curious. I'm sorry, my notes are old. Versus being consistent and cautious. Let's talk about a person open to experience. Open to experience. Is a person innovative and curious, meaning they go after something to find out about it? You know, they run into the unknown just to figure it out? Or is a person more consistent and cautious, like, that don't look right, turn away and walk away? Well, depending on what character a person embodies, tells about their openness to experience. The next big personality trait, number 2, is conscientiousness. How conscious are you? Well, either you are on the side of being efficient and organized, or because you're really paying attention to detail and all that, you can't stand mess, or you might be extravagant and careless. Like, who cares? And you make mistakes, just kind of whizzing through things. The third big personality trait is extroversion. Extroversion. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Version. Yeah, extroversion. Anywho, that suggests that person is on the side of being outgoing and energetic, or they're more solitude and reserved. Why am I talking about this? Let me try to make it make sense. Right now, I'm dealing with the message that was offered in the astrological alignment for June. June what? Around June 10th of this year. And it referred me to the storyline of The Wizard of Oz. And the main subject matter, the astrological message, was trying to spotlight was about the different personality traits people have. Why is this important before I continue talking about the big 5 personality traits? Is because we're moving into a time in which what we will do or what we won't do, what we'll stand up for or cow down to, is determined by our personality. This is how deep astrology is. So it has us looking at our personality traits. To be able to what? Say what we'll do and what we won't do. To be able to say what we'll stand up for and what we'll cow down to. So I continue. 5 big personality traits continue. Number 4 is agreeableness. So agreeableness looks like being very friendly and compassionate, or you're on the other side and you're critical and rational. Number 5, I'm going to come back to these things. 5 is the last one, and it talks about neuroticism. Neuroticism. Either you are sensitive and nervous, like I'm often am, or you're resilient and confident. Resilient? No, it's not resilient. Ain't nobody coming over here. refer to the common cause model. I'm not going to deal with that. Okay, so hopefully you understand what I've been doing. I just shared with you the big 5 personality traits. The reason I did so is because the astrological message in mid-June referred me to it. Why did the astrological message refer me to the big 5 personality traits? Because it's about people coming together or not to impose their will into the world because their personality allows them to do so, or they're not going to impose their will into the world and be ran over. Why? Because of their personality. So, still dealing with June 10th of this year, you know, rounding about, significant. Going back into the story of the Wizard of Oz, this is another aspect that can be researched. How can you research it? Watch the movie. Watch any version of the movie The Wizard of Oz or The Oz with Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, don't matter. Remember, everything, every element, every character in the movie is symbolic of something. Here are some examples of what I'm talking about. This is also can be researched. You can also research this. Is Dorothy is a representation of the common Jane or Joe or the lay man or lay woman. That's to say just the general populace, me and you, and moving forth through life, right? Young, naive, youth goes with being naive. You know, naive, trusting the system, you know, different things like that. Then she goes on this journey, and I'm not going to try to break the whole movie down. That's a video in itself. But then she meets her friends, you know, the Cowardly Lion. And the Cowardly Lion represented, I had to look up the Cowardly Lion because I did not know. But as a lion, the lion is the Leo in astrology, which corresponds in occupies the 5th house of one's fabulous self-expression. It is ruled by the sun, which talks about authority. And in this case, when talking about the Cowardly Lion, we're talking about a political figure who, you know, when you're in politics, a person is in politics, you are on the front line of making determinations about what should happen or what shouldn't happen, what kind of changes should happen or shouldn't happen in our world. And the Cowardly Lion suggests that there was a political figure that the Cowardly Lion was, you know, mimicked after, that couldn't stand up for the common people like Dorothy. Couldn't stand up for them. You know, they were weak. And that's what the Cowardly Lion represents, is a weak political figure. And so we have today what? Weak political figures. This is the message that was offered in what? June astrological message. So I continue. Then another one of Dorothy's friends was the Tin Man. And the Tin Man represents the industries. What is it called? I should be able to remember that. Why do I have to go on my notes? That's what I did know. But it talks about industries. Where is that? Industries. You know, big industries. Oh, just forget it. Nancy. Did I write it down? Things that I think I know I don't write down. Okay, yeah, I did write it down. The Tin Man. Yeah, I got industrial. You know, companies, factories, and different things like that. Those workers and the industries, you know. And then the Scarecrow, of course, deals with agriculture. You know, food and animals and different things like that. So anyway, watch it. The reason why that message came up in June about the Wizard of Oz is because at this point in time in history of humanity, I think I would have, I'm sidetracking, uh, I would have more confidence in delivering a message if I thought that the way I spoke, the way I speak or deliver a message was fondly received by the viewer, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, and it causes me a lot of stress. Said I wasn't going to complain. Negative Nancy. Anyway, back to the Wizard of Oz and why it has appeared in the astrological messages. Well, I have to go back to the last live stream I made, which was called Stand. And Stan talked about, you know, getting together with like minds, people that have common concerns or issues in order to stand up for a cause. Basically, that's what it was about. You can go watch it. And so the Wizard of Oz comes off of that. How can I say that? The Wizard of Oz is referencing the video that I did that covered the topic of preparing to stand, to have a movement, to get together with people of like minds that have the same or similar concerns so you can try to get some resolve so that you can have peace. Peace in the form of what? Emotional peace. Why would you have emotional peace? Because the the needs that you have as far as having a decent quality of life need to be addressed at this time. I don't even know if I made that make sense. So that's why the Wizard of Oz was referenced. Hopefully it makes sense. And each of the characters represent an aspect of our world today, whether it's agriculture, whether it's politics, whether it's the common layman, whether it's the industrial world and the workers, you know, and even more, even more. And then there's the Wicked Witch, and it's those that oppose us. Who could the Wicked Witch be during this time period? Is number one, it's big business, it's corporations. I even think that it has some extraterrestrial uh, influence there. There's some extraterrestrial influence there. Deep. Anywho, I'm gonna try to keep going, trying to do under 2 hours. Now, I'm still dealing with June, but I'm here June 17th. What does this refer to? It talks about partnership. Here's it. Partnership selection over here somewhere. Partnership selection. So much is all it's big like a big ball of yarn. Big ball of yarn. Why did the astrological alignments on June 17th refer me, the decoder, to partnership activations? Well, got to go back to the last video I made called Stand. Then we got to look at the reference to the Wizard of Oz. Now we're saying, and it was something else that happened. Now it's saying, okay, partnership activation. How does what did superheroes say? Power activation, partnership activation. An example of partnership activation is what they did, the truckers did earlier this year. They got together uh, in a movement. They slowed everything down. I'm talking about the truckers. And I think it was basically all over the world, but especially here in the United States. Powers activated. Team powers activated is what it's talking about. And I just refer you to the truckers because we all know about it. We all know how they had what they call it, the canvas, not canvas, caravans of truckers. They got together. Even at there was a certain time that the nurses, you know, as far as medical, got together, you know, to stand up for whatever their, you know, concerns were, you know, to voice their concerns and have their concerns heard, yada, yada, yada. What I'm saying is I'm just going on and on and on. No wave to ride today. So, how do I do this? It is said that there are 8 billion people worldwide, close to or exceeding, just exceeding 8 billion people in the world. It is said that there are 300 million, about approximately 300 million people in the United States. It's a lot of people. All of those people, the 8 billion people worldwide, but I'm going to focus on, to try to beta do this, the 300 million in the United States. What crew, as an individual, what crew or what clan do you belong to? Hmm? What are your issues, your concerns, relative to what? Your quality of life. Right now, in this very moment, are you struggling to buy food? Hmm? We know that the food prices have gone up considerably. Are you struggling to buy food? Can you, without stress on your shoulders, feed yourself and those up under your care? Who else has concerns like that, around you? Somebody you associate with. Can you pay your rent or your mortgage or your property tax without, the weight and stress on your shoulders? Can you? Who else has those concerns and issues? Do you have health care, dental care, quality of life issues and concerns is what the energies are all surrounded. And how do you get resolution for these issues and concerns? How? So much. I don't even know how to do this because it's so much, so many layers. And it would take me to literally do a video per package to go into detail about each subject matter. However, that ends up breaking up a message that all goes together. They're like little small increments to an overall story. Aquarius ranting. Little increments to a bigger story. A bigger story. And so I'm trying to cram it all in. Forgive me. So in June, and it's been foretold already. Back to the video called Stan. You better get with a crew or a clan so that you can have strength. Strength in numbers. Strength in numbers. Strength in numbers. Let me say something else. Referring to that video Stan, it was these quotes right here that really stuck out to me. I was referred to them by what? The astrological alignments, the message during that time. It said, it quoted or it referred to a quote, "Give me liberty or give me death." It also referred to the quote, "United we stand, united we fall." No, united we stand, divided we fall. Back to partnership again. It keeps amplifying, or what's the word? It keeps trying to pound in on building a support system of like minds to have similar or the same issues and concerns. This is what you're going to need to survive the period we're about to go through. And there's many different levels. So many different levels. I'm going to try to move forward. So anyway, June deals with a partnership. And it also have the term a movement is activated. I'm going to point that out. Come June, which we are in June, correct? Yes, we're in June. June 17th. This was yesterday, but I've been did this. I've been did it, but yesterday was June 17th. So I'm going to start right now, point out that I have partnership selection, a movement activated. Why is that important? Because it suggests, or it should suggest to us, that there is a crew, a clan that already exists, meaning all the members are in place. They all know their role. They know what they bring into the table. They know what their ambitions are, their agendas are, etc., etc. And it said that whatever their issue or concern is and their ultimate aim, they're already in pursuit of. They're already in pursuit of it. They exist today, wherever they are. And with the rest of this information, I don't think it's referring to the astrological message is referring to truckers or nurses or anything like that. No workers. I can't say that. No workers. It's not the common, like common Jane and Joes. They are the workers, but they're not like per se any given industry. They're not. And I'll try to clarify that later. Anyway, now I'm going to June. I have June 24th here. June 24th here. This one, I don't know if you can see it. And I have a quote here. And I meant to look up the quote to get the official quote. And it says, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Amazing. Amazing. Remember, astrology is a correspondence. And this is what's being corresponded to me. This is what I encoded. June 24th. It says, the quote was referenced. Luck, luck. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. What does that mean? I hope I can make this make sense. Hope I'm still live. Hope we get some views. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. I'll start with the term opportunity. Opportunity suggests that it is a sliver of time in space and time. There's a sliver within space and time that everything in your reality supports you, can support you. Hopefully I make this make sense. That's what opportunity is. Everything around you is willing to support you if you what? Prepare. So now I want to deal with preparing. What the term prepared means within that quote. Because that's what the astrological message is for June 24th. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. I just define opportunity. It's when everything in your reality is willing to support you. On what? Your aim, your agenda, your intent, whatever. You getting resolution to your concerns about your quality of life and the issues and concerns. If you're prepared, life is offering you the opportunity to get that resolution. So, preparedness. Who's prepared? Well, how do you prepare? I guess I can ask that question. Ask it in the form of a question. How do you prepare? Well, the astrological message has been saying, get with your crew, get with your clan, yada, 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 yada. Get with your group, get with your clan, yada, 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 like minds. People that share with the same interests and concerns, have the same interests and concerns about what? At this point in time, your quality of life. Get with them. That's how you prepare. Now, remember back here on June 17th, it's a partnership. Get the partnerships activated. It's a partnership activated. Now, remember back there June 17th, I think it was, the message was, there is a partnership, a, a group, a clan, a coalition that already exists. They are prepared. And the opportunity is going to open up for them to be able to move and get resolution to their shared issues and concerns with a primary focus on their quality of life. It's already some out here doing that. It's already some prepared. Okay. Let me stop. Come back to the center. What? I don't know if this even makes sense. It's 8 billion people in the world. But I'm going to focus on what? The 300 million in the United States. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Are you ready for what's coming? Okay. Are you ready for what's coming? Out of the 3 million people in the United States, how many people are prepared? You, whoever you are, viewing me during this live stream, are you prepared? Do you have an intimate, small social network, a group, a clan, a coalition, a club that you are a part of, a member of? You're one of many others that have shared or the similar or shared issues or concerns, especially about your quality of life, about if you can pay your rent, your mortgage, your light, your gas, if you can buy food, do you have health care, are your children safe, do you? If you do not, then you are not prepared for what's coming. Are these messages etched in stone? Can they change? You know, hopefully I remember to answer that. Anywho, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Are you prepared? How do you prepare for the time that is soon to come? And I mean real soon. I'm talking about by September. Are you prepared? I'm still talking about preparation. Ways to prep are to store food, stop wasting money. I'm guilty of all these things because what? Of who I am and because of my contempt for how everything goes on in my world. I'm letting you know this has to do with me. I'm battling here. Even though I know these things, I still waste money. I still waste time. I still cry and gripe and do all these things, even though I know. Are you prepared? I'm not. I've tried to, but I'm not. And that's why I be gripe so much. Anyway, I'm all over the place. Aquarius rant, but it's here and there. Anywho, are you prepared? It's my intent right now to talk about prepping for an opportunity that's soon to come. Coming by September of this year, 2022. Are you prepared? Are you a member of an intimate group, a clan, a club? The club could be, or the group can be your family. We need it a little bigger now for what's coming. Community. Not only your family, your community. It could be a religious sector. People talk a lot about Jim Jones, the drinking the juice to kill themselves, to get picked up by the mothership. group, clan, you know, think alike, common cause, same behaviors, you know. We need that kind of unity at this time. Right here, right now, as I make this video, we should already have that. That's scary because I don't have it. We should already have that. I've talked about this relative to my own life, about, you know, having a dysfunctional family, uh, uh, the dysfunction in my community. And I raised the question, could we unite? I don't know. The dysfunction is not extreme, but it is there. It is there. This is my Aquarius man. This is me. You know, in my community, we are neighbors. We're neighborly. Yada yada. But the dysfunction is there. We are moving into a time period that we need to have already resolved those dysfunctions. You know, the toxicity that exists between people that are in close proximity to each other. Time is coming. Are you prepared? There are people there that have already joined the groups, the correlation, the clan, or whatever. They are prepared and prepped and ready for what's coming by September. Okay, prepped. How do you prep? Let me stop doing the Aquarius rant and talk about how do you prepare. We've already identified you gotta have a crew, a clan support system. Got to. The next thing is getting your food up. There are a lot of people here on YouTube that talk about planning a harvest for yourself. You know, fruits and vegetables and things to have some reoccurring food, potatoes and things like that. People talk about, and I have as well, talked about, you know, building up your food supply and the surplus. Uh, Having staple foods. Staple foods are foods that have a long shelf life like it used to be anyway. That has changed too. I don't know if anybody knows that or not. But anyway, you need to have rice, all types of beans, all types of herbs and spices, and different things like that. You can go find the videos I made on uh, stockpiling food. And the reason why you want to pile food is because what seems like it's scheduled to occur soon and very soon may very well um, make it that much more difficult to get any food. Period. Huh? Okay. Anyway, other ways to prepare is financial. You know, financial. Some people have bought uh, metals. You know, silver and gold and things like that. That is, I think, more for when society is reestablished, more stable, then you can cash it in. But during this time period we're talking about dealing with each other one-on-one. Uh, I'm not going to say that the economy has collapsed. I haven't seen anything that I picked up on that shows the economy collapse. That's to say our dollar has totally collapsed. Um, I'll try to explain along the way. Again, I'm trying to be up under 2 hours. I probably done burn up an hour already. But it's just going to be that much more difficult to acquire and or to afford the foods that you need. Or the materials that you need. It's not just about food, it's materials. It's sanitary napkins, tissue, it might be, I don't know, birth control, condoms or something. It's going to be that much harder to get. Price of things are going up. I think that it's going to be a little more dangerous to go out. And so you might want to barter and trade. That suggests that you should have something in your supplies that either an abundance of, so that you can, you know, trade some of it for another item that you need, or get something that you really don't care for but is a good trading uh, item. I always get example of coffee. Coffee is an excellent trade. And I'm going to tell you another thing that's going to come into play right here, right now. It's people that got all the marijuana they growing in their house. That's a good trade. That's a good trade, you know. So if you growing marijuana and stuff, you know how abundant the marijuana bush or tree can be. You know, that's a good trade item to be able to trade with. Because it has what medical purpose properties, medical properties. It has relaxation properties. You know, um, those kind of things. And what am I talking about? Preparing. How do you prepare? Get ahead on your bills. Close out what you can close out. File bankruptcy on what you can file, and don't get no more credit or whatever. You know, get rid of all the extras. Downsize. You know, some fashionistas out here that love to shop. You got to find some other interest, y'all. Is how to prepare, because it's about doing a time period that is difficult. Being able to keep a peace of mind, being able to keep your head above water during this time period is important. So again, what am I talking about? What have I been rambling about? I'm still dealing with, what is that, June 24th astrological message referring to the quote, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So what does that say? It says that during this time period and soon thereafter, that uh, there's an opportunity to get what your uh, get a resolution or resolve to your issues and or concerns if you are prepared. But during that time period, it's going to be a bit challenging as far as survival, and so you have to be prepared. Even though the opportunity presents itself, remember, it's not just in a moment or a second. Time slowly unfolds. And so it's saying that you got to be able to maintain yourself and sustain yourself while this process takes place. Not everybody is going to benefit from the opportunity because they're not prepared. How are they person not prepared? Brother, they don't have food. They owe all kind of money. They still out here trying to get it in. That's to fill their root chakra. You know, whether it's the ego, materialism, whatever. Another way people may not be ready is that you don't even know what issues you got. You know, or your concerns you got. You're not aware of what extent you're willing to go to make sure you get resolved to your issues and concerns. You don't know that. You haven't made amends, is the word. I don't know what's the word. You haven't made amends, I think, is it amends? With the sacrifice you're willing to make. There are people, there are groups of people that know their group in a group, that know they're together to work together. And they have come to terms, to grips with the sacrifice they're willing to make in order to secure their presumed quality of life. That make it right, sound like right. They already know what they go to, the extent they go to. They're ready. They on lock and load. They got the supplies, and they ready to get down and dirty. Hopefully, I'm making you understand the message. I'm trying to cut short. Let me see how long I've been on here. Let me see. See, it's been an hour and 4 minutes. Okay, well, I said under 2 hours. So I'm keep going. All right, the next thing is, next message on July 9th. That's of this year, 2022. As you can see up here, where is it at? Threat of social uprising, a radical movement. Remember, it's opportunity. Some people, how to say this? Some people wait for opportunity. Remember, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. There are some people that literally waits for life to align in a way that offers them a natural occurring opportunity. But then there are other people that believe in forging their own way, creating their own destiny, creating their own opportunity. I'm gonna put that out. You know. So anyway, come July 9th of 2022, soon thereafter, somewhere surrounding it. Remember, the energies don't come and fade in a day. They set out to perform what they've been commanded to do by the Creator. So, until it happens. But the message of July 9th says that there is a threat. This is a real threat of a social uprising. And it's going to be a very radical movement. Very radical. I refer you back to the June 17th interpretation that talks about a partnership, the partnership selection, and a movement activated, which talks about what? There are already groups and clans in place. They know they are a group. They done prepped and prepared. They know the extent to which they willing to go to get resolved to their shared concerns and issues, especially about the quality of life. In July, it says there is a high probability of a social uprising, and the movement will be very radical, very, very radical. And I got written here, I don't know if you can see it, when I was interpreting, I say this is kind of scary. It's kind of scary right there. I'm gonna come back to some of this stuff. I'm trying to just give you some information. But anyway, understand that there are small social networks or groups, clubs, clans, groups of people that have the same or similar concerns and issues, especially about the quality of life, that exist. They are established groups. And again, I'm not talking about truckers and nurses and things like that. I'm talking about people that's radical. I'm talking about people that's radical. They're willing to lay their life down on the line to have their demands met. It says, give me liberty or give me death. They understand the quote, united we stand, divided we fall. And they are ready to move. Because why? It seems to me, based on my readings, that these people have attempted to submit their demands to the appropriate authorities. They have tried to go through the appropriate red tape, bureaucracy, or whatever it's called, and they keep having doors shut in their face. They've been ignored, and they're not being acknowledged. And I'm gonna just try to finish and then tell y'all what some of the stuff I found. So anyway, they feel like they did all they could do to try to go about it the right way, the way that we were told we're supposed to go about it. And ain't nobody been listening. So they ready. That's July. Now here is July 31st. July 31st. July 31st. Oh, I can say this right here, right now. Another thing I've been noticing, and I guess it's because of the trials that have been taking place about the what's it called, the insurrection of January 6th of 2022, when all the people ran up on the White House. I've been hearing people talk about a lot about that again, and I guess again it's about the trials, but I want to bring that up because it almost seems like, but I don't know, because this can, like I said, all of this is like a big ball of yarn. And I know it's not just referring to like those people you saw on TV, January 6th. It's much more broader than that. But at this point in time, I'm going to use those people and their activities and behaviors that were executed on January 6th of this year, the insurrection upon the White House, as a primary example of what I'm talking about. the messages that I've gotten over these months, putting them together, it seems like those same people, and I'm sure that was just a small um, display relative to what they can really do. That was a very small display what we saw on January 6th. Those people, though, that you saw on January 6th came from every aspect of life, every walk of life. How to say this? Trying to refer back to the Wizard of Oz. Some of those people worked as farmers or in agriculture, dealing with animals, food, all those kind of things. Some people worked in the various industrial industries, you know, factories and different things, factory workers. Some were truckers, some were nurses. They were from every aspect and um, aspect of life as far as work, basically. You know, they have upheld the world or the United States construct. That's the Wizard of Oz reference, and they showed that they displayed this is that they are fairly organized. They came out with their GUNs, you know. It didn't seem like it was any violence between them, the members. The violence was turned against the powers. See how organized they were? They weren't afraid to bear their arms. You know, they came out and was out for long periods of time, meaning they had substance to uplift them, you know, to keep them up and healthy and all that kind of stuff. They actually had to move in some form of rotation because they were out there a very long period of time. And then it was time when it was time for them to move. They knew who was going to move forward. They knew who was going to advance forward. They knew who was going to go in. They knew who was going to sit in the seat of this person or stand at this person's desk or hold this person. They knew all of that. None of it was like, you know, what do you call it? Spontaneous. None of it was spontaneous. It was planned. Of course, there are spontaneous specks here and there, but overall, that movement was planned out. They are an example, those people that ran up on the White House, June 6th, are an example of the kind of groups the astrological message talks about. Remember, uh, one of the messages referred to the quote, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So that suggests to me, plus some other things, that what we saw, you know, what America saw on that date will what's the word? Not be, it's the word compel, no. Fail. It will what America saw on that day is nothing in comparison to what is to come. And it is possible, based on my studies, that this may occur around September. I'll put myself out here. Ask the question, are these messages etched in stone? That's to say they can't be changed, you know? Or can they be changed? I want to answer that now. I believe that I've graduated from an amateur stargazer and astrological interpreter from an amateur to a professional. We're going to see. We're definitely going to see because I'm putting myself out here. But are these messages etched in stone? It seems that if these people, just using the people from that date as an example, because I think that's the most excellent example, and if they get resolved to their shared concerns and issues, especially about the quality of life? Will things progress as they have planned? The answer is no. The direction of um, reality that will end up unfolding changes. You know, it totally changes. But if they don't get resolved to their shared issues and concerns, then the course of what is to happen is etched in stone. It's etched in stone. How can I say this? Are these messages, are the contents of these messages etched in stone? Yes and no. It could change. Um, the course can change if they get resolved. It could be different. But if they don't, the course is etched in stone. We'll see, won't we? Are you prepared? So right now I'm dealing with July 31st. Let me see what this is about. I guess I got to read here because did I write a summary? I usually write something at the top. Okay, I'm just gonna read through what I have here. It probably won't make sense to you. I didn't write a little summary, so I know what it's about. That's July. July is in. Are you partnered in a group? Are you a part of a group? This is some more July stuff. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay. Let's see. With July, what did I find here in July? It says motivated by partnership contracts, predominant perspective. What supports member social sector affiliation, response to leaders call. Okay, July 31st. I'm just reading some of the terms I have highlighted throughout my interpretation. So the words that I'm kind of throwing around ain't gonna make sense to you, but I'm gonna try to make them make sense, summarize them for you. But what it's saying for July 31st is that, remember, there are groups that exist and they have a very unique perspective of life, and they have a very specific philosophy about what they think should happen and how life should be. And this group does have a leader. It has a hierarchy. It has a hierarchy. Anyway, it says in July 31st that the leader of their movement or group calls them to action. The next thing, oh, I got it highlighted here, ready to follow. A group movement already exists with the leader. I got that, and he calls them into action. It says the next thing is in support, others, supportive, social role perspective. Maybe it's time for me to talk about that. A group of people with the same views and aims, talked about that, deconstruction, establish social structure. Okay. I'm going to use that to help me, because it's some stuff I want to make sense to you. I'm just giving you the messages, and then I'm going to put it together. So I'm going to try to go faster. Here, August 8th. This is all this year, 2022. I don't know if you can see this overhead. It says, Breaking through boundaries and the glass ceilings, movement begins. Movement begins. And we're talking about August 8th. Movement begins. What movement? Well, if I'm been able to successfully articulate all these ideas, understand there are groups already established, social, and they have their social groups and or a movement. I'm gonna call them a movement. This group of people are together. They are a movement, moving to get resolved on a shared issues and concerns, especially about the quality of life or whatever their philosophies are, their viewpoints are. They're gonna move. So in August of August 8th or soon thereafter, somewhere around it. Remember, the energies don't go and fade in a day. They set out to perform what they're commanded to do by the Creator, whoever the Creator is. The movement begins. The movement begins. Remember, are these messages etched in stone? Yes or no? Based on this astrological interpretation of the astrological alignments of this time period, it suggests that they don't get no resolve. The powers continue to ignore them. Ooh. What I say, ooh. Going back to that video I made called The Stand, is a part of the speech. I can't remember who wrote the speeches. Give me liberty or give me death, and united we stand, divided we fall. The person that wrote those speeches. Talked about, oh no, that was the biblical reference. Yeah, it was them. It was that. It was that person that wrote those speeches, as well as it was referred to in the Bible as well. You have to go watch that video, Stan. That it talked about if you take your complaints to the higher authorities and you are ignored, you are supposed to move on. You can, and in the Bible it says you can consider those cowardly lying politicians as basically representatives of self important corrupt leaders, talking about the extraterrestrial influence then. Anywho, the movement begins during this time period. I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh, we're talking about breaking through the boundaries in the glass ceiling. I don't want to jump through yet. Just know that August 8th refers to the movement beginning. Is it etched in stone? It seems like they don't get no resolve. They take it to, going through the process and going to the authorities and it being ignored, dismissed as what they saying important. If that's the case, movement begins around August. Okay. Then August 27th, August 22nd. Can you see that? Am I in the frame? August 22nd. It says in my little highlighted notes. I already assume you know that. Yeah, it's called. It goes on and talks about the movement, the cult, the club, the group, the movement. Talks about it and how they're moving. Again, I don't want to go in detail. It just really talks about how each member that is a part of the movement, the cult, the club, the group, the clan, the organization, whatever, they have faith in that group, club, movement, clan, and what they're after. They got full faith in it. I'm gonna come back to it. Trying to hurry up. Oh, I guess I can be okay here. These are additional notes. I think I want to make another video with these notes. Okay. I could go on and on and on. Okay, this is the last one, September 15, 2022. And if you can see in the upper corner, it says the active movement operative, meaning it's up and running and being enacted. And it was interesting, the terminology I came up with, just the way things work, is, as you can see, I got active, which way I go? Active movement operative. And when I looked at it, it almost seemed like it started saying ammo, like ammunition. Ammo. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see if I can put this together. That was a lot, wasn't it? A lot. This video covers July through September, but truly the information I've given today goes back to actually March. You know, March. It all goes together. I've talked about Nero as a leader, and I could compare Nero, the leader, to D. Trump. This is how I see it. And I think it's going to manifest on a broader scale. But keeping with the storyline that we are familiar with, a Nero in today could be D. Trump. All of the characters in The Wizard of Oz are all of those people that you saw running up on the WH on the 6th. They are prepared, and there's an opportunity that is going to present itself to them, whether that opportunity is naturally occurring or they make it, create an opportunity for themselves to do what? Move, to show the powers that they already tried to work with that they're not playing. What we saw on that day, propelled, I almost had the word, is nothing to what I think may very well occur around September. I don't. I think it's going to be worse. And so, let me try to talk about it. The way I see it in my mind's eye is that based on this, all is based on my astrological findings, is that remember, all of those people that we saw that day are proxies or representatives for many more people, many more, across the nation, over the world. That was a little display. They in all sectors of our construct. They push the buttons. They do. They write the notes. They write the passes. They push the buttons. They do everything. This movement suggests that what is coming is that these people, remember, they already established group, clan, club, organization. They about to be on a movement. They are the movement. They are going to use their social role, their positions that are within our society. You know, how can I say it? The positions that they hold within our society, or the roles that they play as within the constructs. When they uphold the constructs, they go to work every day. Whenever they go to work, and they push the button, whatever button they push, whatever job seat they sit in, they're going to use that position in their next movement, the next move. Let me see if I can make that make sense. They're going to use it. So many people. Just focusing on the United States, 300 million people in the world. Remember, there are all these personality traits, the big 5 personality traits. There's some people, let me go back, so much to cover, to break down. Out of 3, just focusing on the United States, there are said to be what? 3 million people in the United States. Now I'm talking about every single individual has a personality. Their personality determines if they're prepared or not. Their personality determines if they are part of a group or not. Their personality determines if they have food supply or not. Okay. How can I do this? Because I gotta say the important stuff. Lot me strength for so many different reasons. Oh God, I'm trying. Because I talked about personality traits, the big 5 personality traits. So how did I say that? I lost because it was active movement. How did I, okay, right now, within these notes, there are many key or critical subject matters to cover the spotlight. And I don't know what order to put them in. So here I go. Still referencing all of those people that made that move on that date. Using them as an example. Even though there are what? 8 billion people in the world and 300 million in the United States. But those people, they all have personality traits. We are assured that those people have quite a few personality traits in common. Those that advanced in that building and struck those poses, you know, they have a certain personality trait that may be a little bit different, a little more advanced than those that stayed on the outside. Then those that stayed on the outside, right on the outskirts, swarming up the building and the stairs, have particular personality traits that may be a bit more advanced than those that stayed in the street or on the lawn. But we can be assured that all the masses of people had some personality traits in common. Another thing they had in common, they had the same or similar concerns, issues and concerns, especially about their philosophies, viewpoints, quality of life, etc., etc. You can be assured that all them people, the majority of them, I'm going to say the majority, prepared. They have what they presume that they need to get them through hard times, whatever hard times may be. They have protection, they have food, and they got each other. They got crops, all kind of stuff. They didn't jar can. Let me talk about them, and let me try. How do I talk about their plan? Again, if they don't get what they want, they have already planned, whether we know it or not. This is just an example. Not to say that is the exact crew that's gonna do what they gonna do soon, but they're an excellent example. Whether we know it or not, these people, all these people, stay in constant communication with each other, and they give updates about their progress. They are all on high alert, waiting for the call to action. Actually, they're feeling a little antsy, agitated. They want to move, but they holding themselves back. They being held back. I say I gotta read my notes because this is in the notes. I can never be as poetic as this. Let me give you an example. I should have marked one of them so I know exactly where it is, because it just be so poetic what it says. Um, oh, I'm about to be all over the place. Right now, I was about to go try to find the notes where they talking about how they being held back. They ready to move, but some, because it's an appointed time. They got an appointed time. You know, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. It's an appointed time, and so they being held back. And the astrological message talk about how they being held back. Ooh, how they partners or the other members holding them back. It talk about how they already know what their plan is, and just that knowing how sophisticated and advanced and well thought out their plan is, they holding it back. That the rest don't see what's coming to them. I'm talking about this stuff. Been talking a whole bunch of good stuff. You know, uh, they plan. Okay. Anyway, before I go back, try to find that, I'm just going to try to read these notes to show you just how advanced the messages come through for me. Anyway, I'm just going to look at this one, try to hit some of those really critical notes, maybe. I'll find some as I move through. Is the August 8th note that talks about the movement begins. And so I'm going to read some of what I got. What do I want to read? Oh, I want to read this one because it referenced the glass ceiling, or breaking through boundaries, the glass ceiling. Do any of you recall when you first heard the term, the statement, hitting the glass ceiling? Hmm? Well, I do. The first time I heard about hitting the glass ceiling had to do with career growth. You know, that at a certain point you hit a ceiling cap. You can't go any further. You can't earn any more money. There are no more promotions. You're just stuck at that level for the rest of your, career or your employment. You're making the same money, even though the cost of living going up, you're making the same money. You're playing the exact same role all the time. So it becomes humdrum and limiting. It's so limiting. And another way I the whole concept of the glass ceiling exists is based on people's gender. You know, like it's a glass ceiling for women as far as their earnings and how they make less than men, than white men. Glass ceiling is much higher than everybody else as far as their earnings and all that kind of stuff. So glass ceilings. So in August reading, it talks about how those people, as an example, those people, which represents many people, are the movement that they're about to make is breaking that glass ceiling. They're not willing to have these this glass ceiling over them, or these boundaries anymore. No. An example is, like I was talking about, how can I say this? If you work in a particular industry and you do a particular job, it's called your, what they call it, job description. Your job description is a boundary. That's all you're supposed to do, whatever it is, your job description. And you do it for whatever institution you're working with. It's all a boundary. You're all stuck. And in our real world, some of these businesses and corporations have people sign, um, what do they call it, signed agreements or whatever to say, I will not go work for like a competing company. Um, You know, you might work for Kellogg's and what's another cereal place. I won't go work for them. Why? Because it would a conflict of interest or something like that. That you may know something about the recipe, you might take over there or something. Think of a corporate spy. You know, so they have people sign those kind of forms to say I won't go work for the competitor. It might take me 10 years before I go get a job at the competitor. You know, those kind of boundaries. And these people, and so they're made to be loyal to whatever company or in whatever industry they work with. This movement that they are executing, they break that. How can I say that? They breaking that. How can I say? The the move part of the movement is, how can I say this? Because what I'm trying to explain is the actual movement. These are things they're going to do, but it also has an effect. They're going to do. It's a cause and effect. Because they break in these type of ceilings, I'm trying to offer examples of. Like, even though I signed this consent or whatever it is or agreement, I'm gonna break that bitch. Oop, I didn't make it. I'll never make it. I'm breaking it. How do you break it? Well, I'm gonna be corresponding with somebody at the other company. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be I'm telling you, I'm gonna push this button or write this note on behalf of your company. But I ain't gonna do it now. How can I say? A person may push a button or write a note with the, what they call it, headline, with the header of their company, but it's not on behalf of the company. They're doing it on behalf of the movement, breaking the ceiling, breaking the boundaries. And how can I convey this concept of breaking the ceilings, totally breaking the ceilings. Totally breaking the ceilings. Breaking the ceilings. They're gonna break the ceilings. How do I do that? Again, this is August, and it talks about the beginning of a movement. And one of the strategies or tactics that they use is to break the glass ceiling, to break out the boundaries. And I've been trying to um, talk about the types of boundaries that exist in relationship to the jobs we have, the social roles that we play. It's so many different ones. I just offer some of the examples that we're familiar with, at least I was familiar with coming up, like income ceilings or income caps, uh, restrictions by work, whatever your work description is, that's all you do. And everything you do is on behalf of the company you work for. And you can't do nothing else. You can't let what works you do benefit another company or another organization or anything else. It's all about uplifting and upholding the construct that you work for. They're breaking that during this movement. Example is that they can use I'm just saying a piece of paper as an example with the header of a company or corporation, write out a correspondence and send it out to everybody. You know, they ain't supposed to do that. That's breaking through the ceiling and breaking through the boundaries, breaking the rules, breaking the agreement. They don't care. And remember, they're in every aspect of life, whether it's the military, whether it's in medical, whether it's trucking, whether it's a hairdresser, a housekeeper, a housewife, whether they are, well, I was about to deal with race in that moment, but I think that's a whole nother level. Like I was trying to say earlier, we saw an excellent example of the people or the crew or clan that will be the body during this movement. I can't say it's not any other race or culture, but we're going to move differently. So that's why I don't want to go into that. We're going to move differently because it goes back to that quote that says, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So when we talk about luck is when preparation meets opportunity, we can start looking at different cultures and races and things. How have you prepared? First, have you seen? Are you comprehending what's taking place or about to take place or soon to take place? And if you really seen what's about to go down, the potential, how have you prepared? Have you grouped? Have you, again, resolve some of these toxic relationships you have, and you're doing so because you know that you must. And so that's when you start looking at the different cultures and how each culture relates to its other members, and things like that, to see how a culture or race is going to move during this time period. So I ain't dealing with that. I'm just using an excellent example of those people that moved on that day. They are an excellent example of what I'm seeing. Okay? So we got these people, and part of this movement is breaking that glass ceiling and those boundaries. I offer an example. Okay? Another thing, because I know I'm all over the place. Remember I talked about Nero, and the story of Nero and what it represented. It was another thing that, Hitler. Um, I didn't talk about Hitler during this live stream. In times past, I referred to Hitler over and over again. I didn't understand quite why. I kind of had an idea, and it fits here alongside Nero. When I did my astrological studies that reference Hitler, I don't think at that time I did a full video talking about it because I kind of didn't get it. I would interject it during different live streams here and there, but I think I understand. Hitler is another personality that corresponds with a new leader. Nero is another personality that corresponds with a rising leader. Now, when it comes to Hitler's personality was that he was a part of his personality allowed him to be what? A charismatic speaker, a charismatic leader. Many of us, when it comes to Hitler, often ask the question, how could so many people follow him to do the horrific things that they did? How could somebody listen to somebody say, go slaughter another human being and do it? And so it's that part right there, what right there, that spirit that Hitler embodied that allow him to speak, to be charismatic enough to lead many, many people to follow him, follow his philosophies and ideologies, and not only to believe it, but to move on it, to support it, to execute it by any means necessary. All them people, all them soldiers that follow Hitler. That's the charismatic leader that exists now. Same thing. And Nero, the story of Nero, the personality, was about a person that was lighthearted. The common men and women cherished Nero. Why? Because he sat with them. He sat among them. He ate with them. He sung. He acted for them. So the people, you know, he like someone like us, even though he's an aristocrat and rich, but you know, he's down to earth. He's down to earth. Nero bumped heads with all the power. See, this or that is an example of the leader that exists now. Based on what I'm seeing, the leader that exists now, the one that's over this movement, embodies the spirit of Hitler as a charismatic speaker, a proxy, a leader. He speaks about what they all have a common concern about, interests. They all have the same beliefs and philosophies. That is how Hitler had all those soldiers move on his behalf. He was them and they were him. So they basically, when they see Hitler, they seeing themselves. They seeing how they think and what they want to happen. That same leader exists now and is over that movement. That leader today embodies a spirit that Nero embodied. People like him. You know? People like him. He down to earth. He cool. He say it like it is. And he bumps heads with the authority. You know? Bumps heads with authority. But the story of Nero, remember Nero lined up, they said add up to 666. He is thought to be the incarnate of Satan. Nero, I do believe, executed a lot of Christians, if I'm remembering it right. And so these are the kinds of acts this leader will do. Execute religious people, Christians or whatever. He also murder family members and just anybody in opposition. Um, I think I can't remember the whole story of Nero. Yeah, go check it out. But what am I talking about Hitler and Nero for? Hitler and Nero are the personality types combined that the current leader of this movement of people embodies and will execute. It is executing now. Remember, they being held back. That's another thing that it talked about, the notes. They're being held back. And I hope I can find those notes because I'm not going to go past 2 hours, even though I want to. I'm not going to do it. Oh, my God, I'm going to do it. Oh, my God, that's okay. I'm trying to make it. So that was breaking through the ceiling. Let me see. And another thing, let me talk about the glue that holds this clan of people together. Excellent example are the people that made that move on that day. All of them people. You say, how can they be a clan? Because they got same or shared similar interests and concerns, and they willing to move on it. They done made amends with what they got to do to get what they want. They are a clan. They have a like mind, and guess what? They will behave the same. Understand this before I move forward. The leader, embodying the spirit of Nero and Hitler. I told you what we know what Hitler did, and if you learn in Nero, you know what Nero did. And they will get you out their way if you in their way. If they don't like you, they get you out their way anyway. So understand that Nero was a proxy. Hitler was a proxy. The leader today is a proxy. Understanding this is important. What does it mean to be a proxy? We talked about proxy before here on my channel. It talks about how, again, remember I talked about how the soldiers under Hitler, when they looked at Hitler, when they heard Hitler speak, when they saw Hitler gesture, they were seeing themselves. Hitler was them and they were Hitler. And I go back to that because today's leader that I'm speaking of, that is his or her relationship with that movement of people, that sea of people. They seem to be following him, no matter what. No matter what is asked of them, no matter what is asked of them, and I mean no matter what, they're willing to do. Why? because it's like them, like they talking to themselves. You know, even though leaders standing up there talking, that's how we see it. But to them, all them followers that see the people, that leader is them, and they are the leader. What I'm saying, they the same being. They the same being. The leader is just an outward reflection or projection. That's a projection in this case. Projection of who all those people really are. And so I say that because that means that just about every single follower, all of those people, example, like all them people that made that move on that day, will do what? The same thing Hitler did, the same thing Nero did. And what did they do? They will get rid of anybody that's in their way as they are in pursuit of their aim. They will get rid of anybody they don't like. Let me stop before I forget. I don't know if I'm going to find it in the notes. This was another thing that I found in the message. Somewhere along the way, it talked about, remember, it's so many people. 8 billion people in the world, but we're focusing on the United States, 3 million people. And so we're talking about a fraction of those 3 million people. We use an example of all them people that made that move upon a WH on that date as an example. All of them people. How can I say this? How can I say this? This is real important. Don't forget, Nancy. That okay, all of them people, but they still, even though that's a whole clan, a crew, a whole ocean or sea of people, there's still little groups that make up the whole. There are, you've heard this before. There are every wave make up the whole ocean. Same concept. There are many groups of people. Let me give you an example. Out of all those people that were out there on that day that they ran up on a WH and did what they did, what groups of people were there when you put it under a microscope or under a magnifying glass? You might find Aryan Nation. You might find, I don't know, just naming some of the various small social groups that we know of. Not to say that they were there. These are just examples. What I say, the white Aryan, what is it called? The Aryan Nation, white supremacists. I don't know. They could have been the Farmer's Almanac. That probably don't exist. The Farmer's Almanac crew. I'm trying to think of some more. But just name, it's a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of little waves that make up the whole ocean, whole group of people, right? On that day, as an example. So, the leader. I'm talking about the current leader. Charismatically speaking, the proxy for all of these different people, so sea of people, made up all these little different waves that I gave an example of. They are a crew, they are a clan. They are a movement together, they are a movement. Why? Because they have a common concern, concerns and issues that they're going to move to get some resolve to one way or another. Either the easy way or the hard way. But I got to talk about each one of those waves, each one of those sections of people, like, example, Aryan Nation, out of that whole sea, white supremacists, I don't know, neo-Nazi, or whatever, the Farmer's Almanac, whoever they were. Each of those, independently, moving that one wave away from the sea. This is all in here. I gotta use like well, I don't know which is which if they one and the same, but like the white supremacist, you know, I'm using them because as an example, because we know their agenda. At least I think I know, but you know, it's for the upliftment of their race, white race, and they would prefer, it seems, to be able to eradicate or get rid of anybody that's not like themselves. Period. That's what it seems like. What am I doing right now? I'm still breaking down the messages, trying to deliver the messages that I found in the, during this time period that I researched. And this is one of the topics it talked about. It's a very critical topic. And what we're getting to understand is, in this case, we're talking about the leader in relationship, or how can I say, the leader is going to call them to action. The whole sea of people. But I want to focus, I want to put a magnifying glass on one of those waves of out of the sea of people. The leader has this call to action. Even though the whole sea shares in issues and concerns. I know I say this over and over again, especially about the quality of life, their philosophies, their viewpoints, etc., etc. We got to go put the magnifying glass on one of them waves. Because on a microscopic level, how can I say it? Microscopic level, on a more intimate level, they have other issues and concerns. Here it go, messing up. Like the white supremacists or Aryan Nation. Again, I don't know if they're one and the same or not, or what the difference is. Just an example, because we all know about it. Most of us know about it. Is their microscopic concerns start with racism. It starts with the separation of races. It starts with the upliftment of their own nationality, their own race. Where the Farmer's Almanac, as an example, that one little way on a microscopic level, starts with my land and maybe what's happening in the environment and what they're able to produce. We're talking about the Farmer's Almanac, the imaginary group I made out of that group of people that went up there on the WH on that day. And they saying, okay, and we might have an issue with Monsanto. But what it all boils down to, whether it's the neo-Nazis, the Klan, or the KKK, or the Farmer's Almanac, is when you look at it, it's the quality of life. I'm trying to convey concept that was shared here, and it's very relevant and critical. It's the quality of life. Going back to the neo-Nazi. Neo-Nazis are concerned about their quality of life, and they feel like they're living their best life is being challenged because of other races and nationalities and what they, may take from the table. But it's all about one's quality of life. Going to the Farmer's Almanac, that imaginary group, they're concerned about their land and if it's going to be fertile. They are concerned if they're going to be able to produce enough food to feed their families, those and those outside, the feed whatever region they feed. They're wondering if they're going to make enough money to buy what they need to continue to produce food season after season. They're wondering if their crops were like killed due to drought. Or recently I just seen on YouTube where all the cows died from heat stroke. Are there going to be funds for them so they ain't got to worry, they ain't got the pressure on their back or worry and stuff? Are they going to be given a grant, to cover their losses, or some insurance to cover their losses, whatever? It's all about their concerns about the quality of life. So everybody concerns about the quality of life. But there is that microscopic element to it that is specific to each wave. I don't know if I'm making this make sense. So remember, all these waves came together to create one ocean on that day. It talked about, I'm trying to get somewhere. I had to explain all that because I'm trying to get somewhere with this. Is that when the leader calls, sends out that call to action, they're all willing and they're all going to respond. I don't know how to say this. Now, even though everybody we're going to say on an official level, on a professional level, know what they going to do, they also got that microscopic thing going on that they think is the source or what needs to be dealt with relative to ensuring the quality of life they desire. And how are they going to move on it? Let me give you an example of what I think I'm seeing. Back to the KKK, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, those that are interested in uplifting their own race, and they feel like other cultures or races might be taken from the table, so they can't get as much. They feel insecure. How do they move outside the official arena, outside of them pushing them buttons and writing them notes, or using the tools that they have in relationship to their social role or where they work? Outside that, what about those that don't work? What about those that's off duty? What movements, what activities will they do to still promote the movement? I don't know how to still promote the movement. An example is, I think, now I could be wrong, but this is how I see it in my mind's eye. Keeping with my example, is that such people could actually execute violence into the world, perpetuate violence into the world against other races or nationality, all from their perspective, all in the move to uphold the overall movement. But the farmers ain't gonna do that. The farmers are not going to perpetuate violence against other races or nationality. That's not how they're going to micromanage the movement. Just that particular type of wave wheel, that sector of the whole ocean wheel. So I think it is saying, because what am I saying? I think because it was saying that the leader, when he sets out this call to the ocean to move, the call to action, that he's very aware, he or she is very aware that they cannot manage the various ways, methods of moving the movement along. They can't. I hope I made that sense. Remember, the leader, whoever he or she is a charismatic speaker, a leader, a proxy. They are going to send out a call to action, and the whole ocean of people will follow. The whole ocean knows exactly what they need to do on a overall level, a micro level, macro level, but on a micro level, the small part, the wave. Again, I use the groups that I named. Even the Farmers Almanac group I made up. The leader knows that they can't dictate, govern, or control how those individual waves or sectors, whether it's Aryan, KKK, white supremacists, Farmers Almanac, whomever, cannot dictate how they will micromanage the movement. But the leader is aware that there will be micromanagement or micro activities associated with the overall movement. Okay. What else? I know I'm all over the place. I want it under 2 hours. I try so hard. Hopefully, y'all understand me. I'm trying. Am I even live? Let me see what's going on here. I'm about to refresh my page. Let me see. Okay. What else? That was one of the really important things to understand. What am I pointing out? That there could possibly be some Do I have any viewers? No, not at all. Insane. Insane. I'm going to look at this from another perspective to be on here 2 hours. See? Well, okay. I'm just going to, okay. It's so important. Okay. All right. Nope, 4 views the whole time. Interesting. Okay. Where's some of this? What I'm looking for now, I'm about to browse my notes to look out for the vital subject matters that are really, really important. And I just shared that one because you have to understand if this movement that I'm talking about occurs, you need to secure yourself um, to be safe. And I know this. Here's another critical part or subject matter going back into people as individuals upholding the world or the social construct, the world construct. That's to say, the social role you have, the work that you do, your career, your ambitions, your personal reputation and status, your social influence. Where you work, what buttons you push, what you write. What they've hired you to do. You know, or you come into doing, you don't want to do. And it was saying that this movement, another way this movement is going to be a movement or a tactic used during this movement is that these people have come to understand it's already planned. It's been a whole strategy, you know, right up under many of our noses, that they're going to use whatever social seat they sit in, sector, or the construct they work in or have access to, and all the tools affiliated with that sector or social construct to their advantage. Meaning, again, I remember they can break the ceiling, associated with that, breaking the ceiling, breaking the boundaries. Oh, I have access to the radio. I have access to broadcasting. I have access to media or publications or the market or whatever. Whatever it is, I'm using it to what? Further the movement. And another thing that I pointed out relative to this is saying, like, people, even people in power, are not aware, quite oblivious to the extent, or they're oblivious to the multitudes of people that are a part of this movement. They don't understand how big this movement is. How many people are in sync? How many people are synchronized? And they're synchronized in every aspect of the construct. And they have planned to use the construct against them. I used to push the buttons for you. I used to write those correspondences for you. I used to execute this for you. But since you, the world construct, the construct, didn't appreciate me, you didn't hear my complaint, my plight, you didn't care. Now I'm going to use your stuff against you. Like, I'm going to use your radio, your publications, your media, your social media. I'm going to use it all against you. These are tools that will be used in this movement. That's what it seems to be saying based on what I'm seeing. And so, could you imagine not being aware? Like, I'm going to give an example. Uh, Politically, in a political arena, there are certain people, politicians, relative to D. Trump, that say, they feel like the vote thing was, they cheated and things weren't counted right, ballots weren't counted right, and there are different politicians or political figures that are standing with D. Trump saying, hey, that uh, election wasn't fair, the ballots wasn't counted right, all that kind of stuff, right? They always blocking me. YouTube, stop blocking me. What's wrong with y'all? I don't be talking about nothing. Let my video go out. Mother sacrifice. Karate chop y'all. Anywho, all this hard work and mental anguish. English. And so there are, again, political figures that stand up like, I even heard one day in my sleep, I've been letting stuff play, I shouldn't, but I heard him say this, one a political, I'm not even sure if I'm using the right terminology, but it was a lady, some type of political figure or legislative a member or whatever, was saying, talk to some person, say, another member, that you standing up for that is gonna be with you forever. It's gonna be with you forever, uh, because what you standing for. And what I'm saying is, there are people, members, um, people that participate in um, politics and things like that are openly letting it be known they're with that side. They believe the same thing, that the votes wasn't right, the election was there. They letting it be known openly. They don't care. They do not care. But they sitting cool. But what people like that lady that was trying to chastise that person that's standing with in their convictions, is she don't know there's a lot more in the office. There are a lot more in the building. There are a lot more in the overall government. That's what it was saying. So y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. And everything that I have as a worker in this sector, every tool that I have, I'm about to use against y'all. And y'all don't even know it. You think we're playing. These people are sitting there like, okay, I said what I said. I meant what I said. And they ready. They're anxious to move on. I said what I said. I meant what I meant. And I wanted to be resolved the way I wanted to resolve. I mean, the astrological, and so they have a die-hard conviction. And they all have made amends to the extent they know what extent they're willing to go to fight for their beliefs. And they're everywhere. And that's what it was kind of scary, is it was the astrological message was just pointing that out. They are aware that we're here, but we're not. We're not. And I say that because we don't know, like they were saying, the astrological message was saying, we don't even know where they at. They be sitting right beside us. You got family members sitting right beside you that's with this movement. And you talking all kind of stuff but they chilling. Like, you don't even know what's about to happen. You can't even see what's coming. Okay, we done warned you. I ain't even talking about it no more. They like that real, how it's the quiet before the storm. Real quiet. Yeah. Okay. What's that statement people say? Keep that energy. And that's what I should have titled that one. Keep that energy. Go ahead. Keep it. You ignore it. Go ahead. Keep that energy. That's what I'm saying. Keep that energy. Because you don't know I'm sitting right next to you. You don't know I got access to this. You don't know I'm going to use it against you. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you call yourself going to do. Because it ain't just me. It's all of them. No. So even if you get me, capture me, execute me, imprison me, don't matter. It's all of them. You didn't know it was all of them. Waves, waves, waves of people. All sectors of life. Working in all sectors of life with different types of philosophies. But those philosophies all center around one's desired quality of life, is what it's saying. That was another important thing, just about how they're going to use the system against the system. And what else does it say? Other things. Oh gosh, it feels too long. Back is fine. Yeah, and it also talked about the astrological message, talking about deconstructing society as we know it. For instance, I'm gonna give you an example. That YouTube issues was not gonna let my video be seen, because especially what I'm about to say, if nothing else, was disturbing to them. however I'm going to say it. Um, the law enforcement. I've talked about the law enforcement. I made various videos throughout the years uh, talking about the different sectors of law enforcement um, and the judicial system and different things like that. And one video I made was called "Kiss the Headbanger's Ass." Another was covered the Milgram's experiment. Like, what will you do and why will you do it? You know, for what? Do you take an oath and you do it, or is it because you get paid? You do it, or is it because you believe in something, so you do it? And so I'm trying to use law enforcement as an example of the concept of constructing society. In general, people have been led to believe, or just subconsciously believed, that law enforcement exists to protect us. You know, locally, to protect the people in their homes, and then making sure people can go to work, come home safely, and go to the bank and be safely, safe. Uh, but over time, we found out that wasn't quite what law enforcement exists for. It's more for a local, to make sure the local government and what their agenda is executed seamlessly. To keep some level of calm in the local area, so the city can, or the state can, do what they need to do to further the overall agenda. The same thing exists on all levels, even talking about military forces and global social interactions. We thought that our military was here to just protect the United States from any foreign invasion, but that's not quite the truth. It's not quite the truth. They are here to strong arm other countries and to enforce, like in country O, or they want something from the country. And then, as far as us, again, what am I talking about this for? Something else that was spotlighted or highlighted in the message. It suggests that, remember, people are going to use their social role, the seat of position that the seat or position that they sit in socially, the works that they do. An example is law enforcement. And it is saying, remember, this is just an example, deconstructing the established social structure. And that's to say, like, okay, that's what the military was for. Like, I was like, it's this becomes this obvious, um, on this obvious, or this understanding about what law enforcement does. Again, in our imagination, we thought they were there to protect us. During this time period, we found out law enforcement exists here. And it ain't really that law enforcement exists as on the military level to execute the will of the powers. Because remember, the common layman and woman tired of the powers. So now they're going to take their skill, their talent, their know-how to enforce the law, to enforce the overall agenda, the movement, the movement. So, you know what that means. I want to talk. I'm just talk. I don't know. So they'll take that mastery in, what do you call it? It was ammunition and I can't think of what's called. Right, doing the range stuff. I'm trying to encode my stuff. Uh, just in law enforcement tactics, I'll say, and use those skills and everything they've acquired to be able to execute those skills to further the movement. I'm talking about this radical movement, this movement out that comes out of society. I'm not talking about something that's already established. No, they're going to do that. And it talked about it in here. Uh, how that's going to occur in, with different sectors. Anyway, what was I talking about? Deconstructing a society or constructs as we know it is no longer for that. Is no longer for the social construct of law enforcement. It's not there. Got the skills, the talents, the training now for all these years, but now I'm about to use it for this. Uh, Deconstructing. society. Hold on, y'all. Look at they making all this noise. All right, hopefully you can hear me. I'm just going to end this live stream. I got an unexpected guest. Okay, thank you. I hate breaking stuff up. I really do. Because it was something else, but I can't remember. Hopefully I can make a video in the next few days. Okay. Well, yeah. Anyway, thank you for coming here to Can Angels Fly Tarot and more. Sorry for the abrupt ending, but I'll come back hopefully in a few days. If you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, you can do so by contacting me by email. Until next time, bye.